Hello and welcome. I'm Swati, your insurance coach. Dear students, welcome to our detailed analysis of the LIC AAO Insurance Specialist exam, which was held on 8th November. In this presentation, we will walk you through the exam's context, structure, section by section breakdown, and key takeaways. By the end, you will understand what to expect and how to interpret the results and how to prepare better for interviews. First, let's set the scene. This year's insurance specialist recruitment had 410 vacancies for LICAAO. Over 3,500 candidates appeared for the exam. The exam was a 3.5-hour marathon, a 200-minute test. According to the analysis report, the overall difficulty level was moderate to difficult. In other words, this paper required solid preparation across all topics. Talking about the exam structure, it consisted of two parts: an objective MCQ paper and a descriptive paper. The objective paper had 120 minutes to solve 300 questions, 300 marks worth of questions, divided into four sections. These four sections were reasoning ability, general awareness, professional knowledge, and financial insurance awareness, often included under GA. After a short break, there was a descriptive paper of 90 minutes for 75 marks. In some, candidates had 210 minutes to attempt both the parts. Now, let's go section by section. First, the reasoning ability section. The reasoning section proved to be the toughest section of the entire exam. It had 30 questions for 90 marks with just 40 minutes on the clock. What made it so challenging? Nearly half of the questions, which is 15 out of 30, were complex puzzles. These included extremely intricate arrangement puzzles, for example, three puzzles each involving seven persons with four attributes, and 8 to 10 interlocking conditions per puzzles. There were also five machine input-output questions, each multi-step and conditional. Other topics were direction sense, three questions, statement, three questions, alphabet series, two questions, and inequality, two questions. Because of the heavy puzzle content and time pressure, many students found this section daunting. As the analysis notes, this was the toughest part and a time crunching part. Next comes the general awareness section. It had 30 questions for 60 marks to be done in 20 minutes. The GA section was divided roughly in half between the static GK and current affairs. Talking about static GK, about 7 to 8 questions were straightforward static GK questions. Most students got around 6 to 7 of these right. Sample facts included things like Jaipur is known as the Pink City, the capital of Malaysia, the name of the longest bridge, the location of Dachigam National Park, and the fact that India is world's largest democracy. These are the kind of things you can memorize from flashcards. Next were the current affairs. The remaining 12 to 14 questions from current affairs from June to October 2025. Topics covered included recent awards: Nobel 2025, Booker Prize, Phalke Awards given to actor Mohanlal, new schemes like India Singapore Bold Kurukshetra Initiative, IIT's DigiPin scheme, and a new lithium ion battery plant. Economic indicators like CPI, ministry appointment, core sector stats, wealth rankings, and various government affairs. Example: the Patient Safety Day, GI tags, hydropower projects, and the sixth schedule of the Constitution, etc. These required keeping up with the news over the previous months. GA can seem split between very easy and tough questions. A solid strategy was to be thorough with the basic static facts and consistently follow recent current affairs. The analysis noted that the consistent current affairs preparation was a key factor for success. Next come the professional knowledge part. It was the largest section, 50 questions for 100 marks. It turned out to be a scoring area for students who had covered the syllabus, and indeed the syllabus analysis called it the highest scoring section for prepared candidates. It drew heavily on standard insurance curriculum, primarily the books IC 85 and IC 86, and other core topics. Here is a breakdown of what came up with some examples. Motor insurance IC 85. About 10 to 12 questions were based on motor insurance. These focused on concepts like third party liability versus own damage coverages. For example, one question was which type of cover compensates other people's damage but not your own car. Candidates would remember that third party cover is mandatory for law by law, and it covers medical and property damage to others and does not cover by own car. NCB or no claim bonus was also an important part of many questions. Next is the general insurance IC 86. About 8 to 12 questions. Key topics included fire insurance, what perils it covers, fire, lighting, explosion, and types of fire policies like specific versus block versus floating. Marine insurance with its three subtypes, hull, cargo, and freight insurance were part of the questions which were asked. And burglary insurance, which covers theft with forced entry but excludes simple pilferage. For instance, a question described as a stolen ship or inventory loss and asked which policy covers it. The analysis highlighted that 15 to 18 questions were directly from the mock test and coaching notes. In other words, the exam stuck very closely to the official IC85, IC86 material and practice content. Candidates who studied the prescribed books and took quality mock exams had a big advantage in this section. Next was the reinsurance section. 7 to 8 questions were asked from the reinsurance part. It is a niche but important topic. The exam asked basic definitions and concepts. Uh, the five key objectives of the reinsurance were tested. For example, the risk transfer and capacity enhancement, etc. So, in case of a risk transfer, if an insurer faces a 10 crore claim, they might cede 2 crore and pass the 8 crore to the insurer. Similarly, going by capacity enhancement, an insurer with a 5 crore capital can normally underwrite up to 200 crores in policies. With reinsurance, they might extend up to 300 crores, a 3x multiplier. Next was the capital relief. Reinsurance can improve insurer's solvency ratio without issuing new equity. Catastrophic protection. A reinsurer might cover losses beyond a certain annual limit, say above 500 crore total loss. So one big quake doesn't bankrupt the insurer. And the last is the expertise support. The large reinsurers like GIC often have specialized knowledge in niche areas. The exam also covered the types of reinsurance, the proportional reinsurance like the quota share treaty, and means the reinsurer takes a fixed percentage of premiums and claims. A surplus arrangement means the insurer keeps a certain amount per risk and cedes any excess to the reinsurer. Non-proportional reinsurance includes excess of loss, etc. So these were the type of questions that were asked. Next is the insurance principles. 18 to 20 questions were asked from the insurance principles, which makes the fundamental doctrine of insurance. The exam tested all the classic ones: the utmost good faith, indemnity, proximate cause, insurable interest, subrogation, and contribution questions. Remembering these principles and the simple examples was necessary for the exam. The analysis specifically listed these six with examples, so reviewing them thoroughly was worthwhile. Regulatory regulatory landscape was also important core for the questions. 10 to 12 questions were asked from the regulatory landscape, which included pertaining to IRDAI insurance regulator, which was established in 1999, the solvency ratio formula, and other terms like DICGC, SEBI, PFRDA, etc. Questions were there also on the financial market part, which included 10 to 12 questions on the financial markets and equities, implying stock market basics. While while the financial markets have the details like money market and capital market, overall the professional knowledge section covered a lot of ground, but most questions were directly from the standard textbooks and passed the mock tests. The key was thorough reading of IC 85 and IC 86 and revising the core insurance concept. Next, we come up with the expected cutoff marks per section wise. So as is visible in this slide, 40 to 45%. 45% is the average percentage cutoff marks that we are expecting across all section, and it's also important to clear the sectional cutoff, and it is mandatory to clear the sectional cutoff. Next, let's move to the descriptive paper. After the objective paper, there was a 90-minute descriptive test. This paper had 6 questions, each worth 12.5 marks. The descriptive paper covered the technical and the applied topics as well as English writing. Question 1 was about risk mitigation and modeling. Students were asked about strategies like avoidance, transfer, reduction, retention, diversification, and modeling tools like mortality tables, stochastic models, value at risk, and ERM integration. The overall difficulty level was medium. Question 2 was on call option. Define what a call option is. Strike price, premium plus profit, simple profit loss scenarios for buyers versus sellers, and discuss hedging versus speculation. The difficulty was medium to easy. Question 3 was about financial management. Concepts like investment decision, financing, dividends, balance sheet structure for life and general insurance, solvency requirements, and technical reserves. This question was hard at difficulty level. Question 4 was about reinsurance objectives, a repeat of reinsurance theory. It lists the 5 objectives with example and explain proportional versus non-proportional, fact versus treaty reinsurance. The difficulty was medium. Question 5 was regarding the Jensen-Sharp method. This unusual name refers to a variance analysis technique and key financial control metrics and ratios. This question was hard. And the last question, question number 6, was based upon IC22, mortality, morbidity, its fairness and adequacy, the calculation and principles about mortality, morbidity tables, fairness, non-discrimination, and adequacy, solvency, and premium pricing frameworks. This was a hard question. Each question was 15 minutes worth. It appears the descriptive questions mostly required clear explanation and possibly numerical examples. Knowing the IC 85 and 86 syllabus and related materials were crucial, as with the objective section. Additionally, the English test comprised of 30 minutes and 25 marks qualifying only. It was part of the descriptive segment. It had 2 parts. One was the email writing and the second was précis writing. You had in email writing you had to choose one out of 3 scenarios. For example, writing a professional email for a medical reimbursement claim inquiry, or writing to boost team morale with solutions and budget, or writing to allocate corporate donation budget. Each email needed the right tone, a formal, persuasive yet polite, a proper structure, and précis writing. This was mandatory. The topic was environmental conservation, forests as the world's lungs. And candidates got a 300 to 350 word passage, and it had to reduce to be 100 to 120 words. Scoring was on consciousness, completeness, clarity, accuracy, and coherence. Even though the English paper was qualifying, clear writing and organization was important. Since it was rated the easiest section in the analysis, strong candidates could easily ensure qualification here. Overall difficulty level and cutout. Summing up difficulties, reasoning was the hardest, especially the puzzles. Next came the insurance and financial awareness part of professional knowledge. It was medium hard because it required clear conceptual understanding. General awareness and professional knowledge section were medium difficulty, a mix of easy and hard questions. The English descriptive was the easiest component, focusing on standard communication skills. The analysis slide highlighted these rankings explicitly. So it also noted that 7 factors determined success. Here it's important to understand what determined success. First is the puzzle solving mastery, which was essential for acing reasoning. Second was IC 85 and 86 thorough knowledge, as many questions were drawn directly from these textbooks. Third is the consistent current affairs for general awareness. Fourth was sectional balance, being reasonably strong in all the section, as sectional cutoff was mandatory. Next is the time management discipline. It was crucial for finishing the marathon exam in 210 minutes. And the second last is descriptive clarity, writing answers clearly in the descriptive exam. And last is exam stamina, ability to stay focused for the long 3.5-hour duration. What about the cutoffs? The slide had a placeholder for expected cutoff marks and a note that sectional cutoffs were mandatory. In LIC exam, you must clear every section's cutoff to qualify. While the exact numbers aren't specified there, but we expect some 40 to 45% overall on each section. And thanks for watching.